You are watching the WD Broadcasting Network, your home for racing highlights, iRacing broadcast commentary, and more. But here comes Jeremiah Woods. He wants to win in the Street Stock Showdown. But he's hungry to get up to the front. If you are a fan of short track racing, the WD Broadcasting Network is your home for racing content in real life and on the sim. Follow the WD Broadcasting Network on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And don't forget to hit that red subscribe button on YouTube to never miss an upload. Top spot away, Terzak once again into the back bumper. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the Slinger Super Speedway, and welcome back to the Lead the Pack iRacing League Street Stock Showdown. Tonight, we are back at the Slinger for the second time in series history, ready to go 200 laps around this tight quarter mile. Last time we were at the Slinger Super Speedway, it was Brandon Atkinson picking up the victory in the 100 lap affair. It was a pretty close race. They had a late race restart, and Atkinson came from 16th on the grid to finish in victory lane. Joey Connor, father of Dylan Connor, who currently sits second in points, came home in the second spot, and second most winningest driver in Street Stock Showdown history, I do believe. Mark Keteman finished third that race. He and Brandon Elvis made contact going into turn one on the white flag lap, and that ultimately ruined their chances of a good run. Here's a look at the Slinger Super Speedway. Like I mentioned, tight quarter mile. They don't have the track map for us here yet. As you can see, quarter mile in length, track temperature 88 degrees, so it's a little hot, but it's nothing compared to what we have seen previously in the Street Stock Showdown. It's going to be a fun one. There is going to be a halfway break, so at lap 100, these drivers will get a chance to hit the pause button. Now I do believe it is time to go single car qualifying. We'll take a quick look at the point standings. Coming into tonight's race, Brandon Atkinson missed last week's race, but holds the points lead by just 6 points over Dylan Connor. The 91 has had a great season so far. He's only got one victory, and that came at Myrtle Beach, but he's had a very successful season up to this point. Like I said, second in the points, 3 top 5 finishes, 6 top 10s in the first 9 races. We'll see what the 91 can do. He was fast the last time we came to Slinger. And race fans, it's now time for single car qualifying for this 200 lap affair at Slinger. The top 16 are going to lock in through qualifying. And then we will take 8 from a last chance qualifier. There will be a driver sent home, at least one. I don't know if we'll have multiple, but at least one driver going home tonight. And let's see, as these drivers get lined up, it will be a complete inversion of their practice times. So Zach Murphy going to roll off first in the 29. He's going to get lined up. All of these drivers going to make sure they're in the right spot before we send them out. We've got enough extra time, hopefully, for all of these cars to get their 2 laps. The sprint cars had 4 laps, and that made things just a little bit different. But you can see all of the cars getting lined up and getting ready to go. They will get 1 warm-up lap. As soon as they fire out of the pits, they'll come to the 1 to go signal. And then it will be 2 flying laps, and we will see who can take the top spot in single car qualifying for the Street Stock Showdown. Previous track record is held by your defending champion, Dylan Connor. 12.134. That is the time to beat. We'll see if they can top that here tonight. Zach Murphy in the 29, going to be the first car out. He was unable to make the show last week at South Boston. It was a tough go for the 29. He finished 1 spot shy of transferring through the last chance qualifier. And it looks like cars are lined up and we're ready to start sending them out. And first driver out onto the racetrack, virtually making his way from Oakland, Maine, in the Coastal Performance Whitney Automotive number 29. This is Zach Murphy. Murphy comes to the green flag. He has 1 victory previously in the Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown that came in Season 1 at the Langley Speedway. We'll see what Murphy can do. His first official lap of record across the stripe, 12.366. Good first lap time for the 29. I expect it to be a tight qualifying session. And across the stripe for Murphy. Second lap, a little bit better, 12.324. He'll pull that car down into the crossover. And Andrew Turner going to be the next driver out onto the racetrack. Andrew Turner out of Milford, Indiana, the Kyle Dumas Designs Fleet Manufacturing, number 51. Down into turns 1 and 2. Kind of tough to get around Slinger. You have to really drive that car down into the banking and try not to hit the flat like you saw the 51 do right there. Comes across the stripe. First lap time, 12.430 for the 51 of Turner. Second quick, behind Murphy's 12.324. He comes across the stripe, and he goes a 12.48 that time. Just a little bit slower than his first time around. And Andrew Turner going to pull it down into the X. Next driver out onto the track. He's made a couple starts with the Street Stock Showdown previously. This is Nick Giampa. Last week at South Boston was unable to make the show. We'll see what he can do in qualifying here tonight. First lap time, 12.921. He will complete his second lap. He gets across the stripe. Second time around for Giampa, 12.593. Slightly better, but still in that 3rd position. Next driver out onto the racetrack. One of the drivers that made some starts in the 2nd season of competition with the Leave the Pack iRacing League. This is Jesse Binkley. Binkley in the Binkley Racing number 25. His first lap time, 12.624. He'll come across to get the checkered flag. We'll see if he can pick it up. Comes across the stripe, and 12.618. Murphy, that first car out, he has been the quickest so far. We'll see if that is a trend that continues. Trey Ashworth on his warm-up lap goes to the 4th spot, just a little bit quicker than Jesse Binkley. Ashworth, the driver out of Nashville, comes across to take the white flag, and he goes to the top of the board. 12.264. First time around for the number 8 of Trey Ashworth. He had a good run last year here. He's got caught up in a little bit of trouble with another competitor. Second time around, just a little bit slower. He'll keep that first lap time of a 12.264. Next driver out on the racetrack, a driver that's made starts in the Street Stock Showdown as well as the Leave the Pack Super Series out of Denver, North Carolina. This is Zachary Wilt. Wilt fourth quick on his warm-up lap. Scraped the wall right there. I don't know if that second time will count, and it does. It will count well for Zach Wilt. He goes to the top spot, 12.257 for the 0-4. Gets the checkered flag across the line. Gonna slow down that second time around. And now the defending race winner at the Slinger Speedway. Driver out of Statesville, North Carolina. He has 2 wins in the Street Stock Showdown. The most recent one coming last season right here at the Slinger Speedway. This is Brandon Atkinson. Atkinson, your points leader, coming into tonight's race by just 6 points over Dylan Connor. We'll see what Atkinson can do. Lap number 1 across the line. And fourth quick, 12.372. 12.372, first lap time for Atkinson, looking for a little bit more on his second go-around. Little slide up off of the corner that time. He will slow down on his second lap. Next out onto the racetrack, driver with the second most starts in Street Stock Showdown history. Out of Easley, South Carolina, this is Chris Smith. He started every race this season. Currently finds himself in the 6th spot in the point standings. And Smith, I think, going to shut it down after lap number 1. He will line up down in the infield. I don't know if he didn't know that he had that extra lap or didn't mean to use it, or didn't need to use it, rather. Next out onto the racetrack. Into the number 19 this week. Usually we see him in the 98, making his 6th start of the season in the 19P. That is Peyton Hamlet, the string bean. Driver out of Nashville, and he goes to the 3rd spot in the 98, or 19 rather, 12.273. We'll see what he can do his final time around, a little loose off of 4. And he'll keep that first lap time. Next out onto the racetrack, this driver finished 4th in last week's race at the South Boston Speedway. And the number 72 out of Wyoming, or Montana rather, sorry, got the West States mixed up. This is Stephen Choate. Choate in the 72 on his warm-up lap, 13.201. What can he do? Lap number 1 across the stripe. And he goes to the top of the board, 12.215. Stephen Choate jumps up to the top spot and gets a little bit sideways out of 4. That's going to kill his second lap, but top of the board in lap number 1 by 4/100ths of a second over Zachary Wilt. Next driver out onto the racetrack, making his way from Lexington, North Carolina. He picked up the victory at the North Wilkesboro Speedway to open up the season. His first in the Street Stock Showdown. He's looking for his second here tonight in the number 55. This is Gavin Gardner. Gardner, first lap time, or second lap time rather, 12.236. Goes second quick to Stephen Choate. Next driver out onto the racetrack. He qualified top of the board last week at the South Boston Speedway in his first attempt in the Street Stock Showdown. Did not have the best result in the race when it was all said and done. This is Cameron Ruggles in at the number 2. Ruggles across the stripe, second time around, 12.295. He goes to the 6th spot. Next driver out. If you're a longtime fan of the Street Stock Showdown, you've seen this driver before. You've seen him in Victory Lane back in Season 1. He picked up 4 victories, the driver from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. This is Justin Coleman. Coleman in the Coleman design, Coastal Performance, Elvis Coleman Racing number 14 across the stripe. And his lap time there, 12.320, puts him P7 after the first lap in qualifying. Second time around for Coleman. Looks like he will keep that first lap time of a 12.320. Very close throughout all of your top 10 so far. Driver out on onto the racetrack. Gets the white flag, green flag rather, in the number 24. Already this season picking up 2 victories. Out of Hebron, Connecticut, this is Connor Knowlton. And Connor Knowlton, top of the board in the number 24 to the top spot. And that is a new track, almost a new track record. We are almost into that new track record territory, about 13 one-thousandths of a second off of that new track record. Knowlton goes quick time. Let's see if that lap will hold. This driver on iRacing is behind the wheel. In real life, he's an owner. He owns a NASCAR Wheel and Modified Tour team. In the Mid-Pack Mafia, JTT Racing, Lefty Designs. Number 18, this is Chris Fleming. Fleming, first lap time, puts in P13, 12.533. On the first lap, we'll see if he can get a little bit more on lap number 2. And second lap time for Fleming, move him up 1 spot, 12.463. Jumps ahead of Chris Smith in the number 80. Waiting for the next driver out. Making his way out of Eldora, Ohio. In the number 18 machine. Usually we see him we saw him in the YourBigPlans.com 500 Sprint Car Tour Sim Series. He was one of the founding fathers of that series, if you will. Initially called Kendallville, Indiana home, but now is from the Eldora, Ohio area. This is Noah Longyear. Got the CarQuest number 12 this week. Longyear, first lap time, 12.509. Second lap, 12.274. Seventh quick for Noah Longyear. We'll see if he can get a little bit more on this final attempt. Checkered flag for Longyear. And slows it down on lap number 2. He'll keep that first time around. Now a long-time competitor in the Street Stock Showdown, making his 13th start here tonight, still looking for win number 1. This is the number 88 of Connor Lee. Lee still looking for win 1 in the Street Stock Showdown. Can it come tonight here at Slinger? He comes across the stripe for the checkered flag. 9th quick for the 88, 12.318. Next driver out onto the racetrack. He was your winner last week at the South Boston Speedway, and he also won the first race in the Street Stock Showdown back on June 26th of 2024. This driver went to victory lane. He calls Yorktown, Indiana home. This is Carter Hollingsworth. Hollingsworth gets the white flag after lap number 1. Top of the board, 12.139. To the top spot goes the 28 of Hollingsworth. Can he get a little bit more and break that track record across the stripe? And it looks like that second lap not going to count. We won't know what it was, but Hollingsworth top of the board with a 12.139. We'll see if that lap will hold or if this driver right here can claim that top spot. Out of Otsego, Michigan in the 14.8 Salon. Quality Graphics, WDBroadcastingNetwork.com, Levi Photography, number 27. This is Matthew Elsie Jr. Elsie, a regular at the Kalamazoo Speedway in a front-wheel drive, and now a modified as well whenever they have the chance to. First lap time, 7th quick with a 12.271. We'll see what he can do second time around. And it looks like that lap will hold. 7th quick for Matthew Elsie Jr. 12.271. And now the most successful qualifier in Street Stock Showdown history. In the number 91 out of South Boston, Virginia, this is Dylan Connor. Connor has 10 Street Stock Showdown poles. Can he make it 11 here tonight? White flag out for Connor. 3rd quick, a 12.177. Can he get a little bit more and defend that track record? Checkered flag a little sideways out of 4. Don't think he was going to be able to get quicker that time, and he will stay in the 3rd spot. Just 5 cars remain. We watch that bubble spot, the 16th position. Everybody outside of the top 16 will have to run that last chance qualifier. How will that shake things out? As Cole Baxter, 11th quick on lap number 1. 12.289. Baxter was your winner at the Nashville Mini Circuit earlier this season, the doubleheader event. And Baxter in the 19 ends up with a 12.238. Next driver out picked up his first win in the Lead the Pack Street Stock Showdown a couple weeks ago at the Rockingham Speedway out of Bowling Green, Kentucky, in the Oliver Motorsports Coastal Performance number 22. This is Brian Grable. Grable first lap time 12.81. 22nd quick for Grable. Let's see if he can pick it up on lap number 2. And lap 2 for Brian Grable, P5, 12.220. And now the winningest driver in Street Stock Showdown history. This is Brandon Elvis. Elvis 6th quick on lap number 1 out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in that all-new Coastal Performance black and white number 54. We'll see if he can pick it up on lap number 2. And lap 2 for Elvis, P6, 12.232. And it looks like there's a couple cars that have not qualified, but I don't know if they are making the call here tonight. Waiting on Chris Shepard and Kyle St. Jean, both of those drivers. I don't think going to make the call in qualifying. So that means Carter Hollingsworth, your winner last week, is going to be your fast qualifier in the Slinger 200. This is going to be a great race. There will be a halfway break. The first time, I think, in series history that these guys are allowed to change tires. I'm really curious to see how that is going to shake things up. Carter Hollingsworth goes to the top of the board. Connor Knowlton 2nd. Dylan Connor 3rd. And we'll get this field back to the pits. They were lined up down in the infield. You can see your competitor can't quite wave at them as they drive by. Trouble for Andrew Turner. Not sure what happened there in the 51. Your field making their way back to the pits. A lot of race cars here at the Slinger Super Speedway. All of them preparing for the longest race lap count wise in Street Stock Showdown history. 200 laps. Last season we went 100 at Slinger. It was a pretty spectacular race to watch. 100 laps, there were 5 caution flags, 5 different leaders. Brandon Atkinson led the final lap after Brandon Elvis and Mark Keeteman made contact. James Pileski, the Wisconsin native, led 52 laps trying to defend his home turf. And I do believe that will conclude qualifying. We're going to take a quick break before our last chance qualifier. Grab a quick breather, get prepared for this last chance qualifier. It will be 20 laps the drivers will go. And we'll be back in just one moment with the Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown at Slinger. All right, race fans, we are back on the WD Broadcasting Network. Gonna send 2 cars, it looks like, green for the last chance qualifier. I don't think there's anything serious to go about this race, although Chris Smith and Nick Giampa, these two could put on one hell of a show on the front row. It'll be 20 laps, but I've got fast qualifier and winner last week up in the booth with me. Carter Hollingsworth backed up the victory last week with the fast time here this evening at Slinger. And what's it going to take in this 200 lap race to get that 28 back to the front after the invert?
Yeah, just gotta make it to the end, right? I feel like the pace is going to be very fast at the start of the race since, we have an extra set of tires, and I feel like it's going to slow down a little bit, knowing that everybody has to save their stuff for, the last, 50 to 40 laps. But, starting 9th is going to be pretty tough, right? You obviously got, 8 other cars that are probably going to be really fast and probably some more. So I'm just going to try and survive here. Wasn't expecting to go quick time with the practice times that I've seen and all the practice we've been doing with Gravy and Elvis and Elsie and all them. But, hey, we'll take it. A lot of momentum so far going with, Sobo being a dub and then going quick time here. So hopefully we can keep the train going and be, I would like a top 3 starting from 9th.
Yeah, it's definitely, like you said, the momentum train's definitely rolling their way like this moment. I gotta ask you, we have a little bit of a, not gamble, but a little bit of a fun challenge, if you will. Halfway break, the leader is gonna get the opportunity to go to the back for a little bit extra cash. If you're the leader, you gonna take that opportunity, or you gonna keep that track result?
Well, depends how quickly I get to the front here. If I feel really, really confident, obviously I will. But if I'm not feeling so confident of how quickly I got to the front, I probably won't take it just to be safe because, I want to win this race. This is one of the races that just happened this past weekend at Anderson, so it kind of feels like a home race to me.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely got to feel good putting the car on pole for the race that you said feels like a home race, and that's kind of what I was thinking too. Kind of what the race is modeled after. I totally picked the dates on accident. I'm glad it worked out that way, but are there any notes that you can take from that race that apply to this race here tonight?
Just, obviously saving tire, right? I mean, the street stock in real life is just so different compared to this. You don't got a spoiler. You've got a lot more horsepower. So, if we can just, save the tires, I guess. I don't really know. Kind of just, there's really nothing that you can take off the real life street stock compared to this thing.
Avoid the chaos, right?
Oh yeah, obviously. There's a lot of, competition here, but there's a lot of, drivers that are questionable.
Well, hopefully there's no questionable activities out there here tonight. We just saw a lot of good racing last time we came to Slinger. We're just past halfway in this B main, so I'll ask you one more question before I let you get dialed in for the race. Slinger's a track that we've seen in the past race with both groups. Do you think it's going to be top lane or bottom lane when it's all coming down to it in those final 50, 25 laps?
It's kind of like how it is in real life. You gotta get the heat in at the top. Once the heat's in, it's definitely gonna be good. I think it's gonna be top dominant for passing. I mean, if a guy gets loose off the corner, yes, you can go to the inside, but the preferred passing is gonna probably be on the top with how iRacing is right now with the dynamic track. I guess I don't really know, but yes, the top will definitely be coming in towards the end of this thing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see some multi-groove racing and hopefully some exciting racing and clean racing up at the front. But good luck to you starting from 9th, but congrats on quick time here tonight.
Thank you.
Folks, that was Carter Hollingsworth, driver of the WDBroadcastingNetwork.com, number 28. And white flag is out for these drivers in the last chance qualifier. We didn't get enough drivers to actually have a battle for the transfer spot, I think, in this race. And unfortunately, with the way that iRacing is set up, you can't skip this race. So these drivers had to come out and make a quick 20 laps, and they did. Chris Smith got the better of Nick Giampa when it was all said and done, but let's really quickly look over our qualifying results during this final 3-minute warm-up for these drivers. Carter Hollingsworth goes quick time, 8/1000ths of a second faster than Connor Knowlton, a very close field in qualifying, all the way back to the 20th spot, just over 0.3 of a second. And at a quarter-mile track, that's not a lot of time at all. That's one bobble, one maybe push on the exit of the corner, and suddenly you're, instead of being P5, you're P15, just like that. And I'm excited to see this close field, how they race in the 200-lap event. Remember, this is the first time in series history that they do get tires on pit road, so there is going to be a little bit of ease at the beginning of this race, I think. Drivers just trying to make it to that halfway break, knowing that there is a set of tires, there is something to maybe save them if they get this car riled up in the first 100 laps. One more time as well. Gotta look at the points battle coming into this race. After tonight, we'll have 5 races left in the season. Brandon Atkinson currently holds the top spot over Dylan Connor by just 6 points. And Brandon Elvis is not too far behind either in the number 54. There is 2 drop weeks to factor in when we're all said and done. This looks to be a close battle so far. Braxton Luis not that far behind either in the number 8. Unfortunately, could not make it here tonight. Having a good season so far. There were a couple drivers that unfortunately could not make the call here this evening. You see Jacob Hayes on the list in points. Matt Borngren's another one I can think of. All drivers who have contributed in the Lead the Pack Street Stock Showdown history. Matt Borngren was a big storyline in this race last season, if you guys remember that. 00 and the 8 of Trey Ashworth that you see on screen. Got tangled up a little bit, had some frustrations post-race, all in good fun. They're all made up and they race well now together. Sometimes this quarter-mile racetrack can really bring out some of the frustrations that have built up throughout the season. If a guy rubbed you a little bit at North Wilkesboro in Season 1, this is the time where maybe you can remember that if they're holding you up or to your outside, not quite letting you by. Might be the time where you think about that earlier season moment. Looking at the standings in the warm-up, Dylan Connor in the 91, as expected, one of the faster drivers, actually faster than his track record time that he set. Unfortunately, not going to count and break that track record, but cool that his track record from a year ago does still stand. We've ran a lot of races in the Street Stock Showdown, so it's cool to go back and see who was the fastest in history. This is race number 44 for the series. And you can watch just about every race right here on the WD Broadcasting Network. I say just about because in Season 1 we did have a race that was unable to be broadcasted due to just technical difficulties and an unfortunate circumstance at the time. But let's meet our starting lineup. The invert was 11, like Carter Hollingsworth and I talked about. Hollingsworth going to roll off from the 11th spot, but that will put Otsego, Michigan driver Matthew Elsie Jr. on the front row. And in that pole position, he started on the front row quite a few times this season. He's just got it figured out how to get that invert just right, it seems. But the 27 going to try to lead the opening few laps. To his outside, out of Nashville, Tennessee, that is Trey Ashworth in the number 8, looking for a better run than the last time around at Slinger. See what he can do from P2. Rolling off third in the 04, that is Zachary Wilt. To his outside, the 19, winner at Nashville. On the mini track, that's Cole Baxter. Winner at North Wilkesboro, going to roll off next to the winner at the Hickory Motor Speedway, Brandon Elvis. We'll see what Elvis can do in the 54, winner at Hickory and Nashville. And then another winner starting in the 7th position, Brian Grable in the 22. Going to roll off from the 7th spot with Stephen Choate to his outside in the 72 machine. Dylan Connor, second in points, going to roll off in the 9th spot with Connor Knowlton rounding out your top 10 starters. And then Carter Hollingsworth going to bring the field to the green from the final spot in the invert. And we're underway and racing here at Slinger. The field is off, down into turns 1 and 2. And down the back straightaway for the first time, everybody trying to get up to speed, trying to get settled in. This is a bigger field than we had last time. You can already see how they're getting spread out and how quickly we may catch lap traffic if we get some green flag laps in. Currently, Zachary Wilt has settled into the second spot. He's gotten around Trey Ashworth, Gavin Gardner down to his inside. Everybody trying to give space here early, get settled in. You see Brandon Elvis in the 54 to the inside of Cole Baxter in the 19. Baxter started in the 4th spot already, back to 6th. That outside lane not treating him well early on. They go down the back straightaway. Brian Grable now looks to the inside of Brandon Elvis. The battle for the 5th spot. 5 laps up on the board. Things going quickly here at Slinger already. Dylan Connor in the 91 started 9th, trying to work his way forward. He's got fast qualifier. Carter Hollingsworth looking to the inside, a little contact there. Hollingsworth checks up, that moves Noah Longyear up the racetrack, a little damage to the left front of the 12 machine, and he gets moved up the racetrack. Peyton Hamlin looks to the inside, all of this happening just outside of the top 10, or the final spot in the top 10 rather. Down into turns 1 and 2, your top 9 cars, or top 10 cars, single file. As back behind, oh, trouble for the 18 of Chris Fleming down the racetrack, able to hang on to that race car, but lost several positions. Outside of the top 20 now, runs in the 22nd position. And already up front, your race leader, Matthew Elsie Jr. He's ran at the Slinger Super Speedway on the real life side of things in a front wheel drive. He's won at the Slinger Super Speedway on the real life side of things in a front wheel drive. Out front right now, looking like he's been here before. Has a half a second advantage over Zach Wilt. A little bit further back, Noah Longyear in the number 12, still falling back, not able to get back down to the inside lane just yet. You can see Justin Coleman now taking a peek to the inside, the 12. Struggling early on, but there is quite a long way to go. Still plenty of time for him to make things up as Stephen Choate, the 72, drives down to the inside, a little contact. Longyear goes up the racetrack, losing more positions, and I think he's just going to try to find that inside lane now. Zach Murphy in the 29 going by. Longyear not in the position that he wants to be. Stuck up on that outside lane. Cameron Ruggles right there in the number 2, and oh, Nick Giampa in the 46 just about went around. They somehow saved it right there. Chris Smith in the 80 machine, I think, straightened him out, and we stay green. But that moves this back half of the field just a little bit closer to Matthew Elsie Jr. in the 27, who currently holds the race lead. Zach Wilt starting to close that gap just a little bit. Brian Grable, the winner at Rockingham, currently in the 6th position. Was not able to get around Brandon Elvis. Elvis able to hold him off. Nobody really able to move forward so far, but Stephen Choate in the 72, back 6 position, started in the 8th spot, currently runs 14th. Not having the start to his race that he would have liked to have seen. And now for the 4th position, Brandon Elvis looks to the inside of Trey Ashworth. Elvis going to try and see what passing is going to be like here at Slinger. It looks like he has the advantage now to the inside, and Brian Grable going to try to join the party as well. Elvis gets by Ashworth. He takes the 4th spot. Brian Grable, 22, down to the inside as well. Ooh, a little contact. Ashworth, I think, got loose on the top. Grable down the racetrack, but the 22 of Grable able to pull ahead through turns 3 and 4. You can see how tight the corner is and how that outside lane is able to hold the inside lane down as we've got cars tangled up in front of your race leaders. Cameron Ruggles, Andrew Turner involved in the 51, trying to get that car turned back around. Cameron Ruggles in the 2, you can see big time damage on his machine. And there was a big one there down the back straightaway. Let's see what happened. 12 of Noah Longyear was on the outside lane. It looked like Ruggles and the number 2 tagged him, and then there was contact there. And down the back straightaway, right in front of everybody. Matthew Elsie Jr., your leader, had to take evasive action down into the grass and gets that car slowed back down. Let's look at it from a different angle here. We'll get the view up top from the drone. Watch the 12 of Longyear just kind of meet in the middle right there, contact, and then the 2, I think, is expecting Longyear to be further up the racetrack. And Longyear in the 12 goes around. He gets it back going, but unfortunately, I think he may have to get some of that damage repaired. Andrew Turner in the 51, the only car going one lap down after that one. As the field will get lined back up. We will go back racing. Green is back out. We're back underway. Oh, trouble back behind Gavin Gardner in the 55. I think it was contact with either Trey Ashworth or Brandon Elvis. Double car is aggressively getting back down to the bottom. I think that was Connor Lee fighting for the bottom lane. And now that we're back on the restart, a couple drivers turning the aggression knob up just a little bit, trying to make some positions early on while drivers are close. Cole Baxter to the inside of Trey Ashworth now for the 3rd spot. Brian Grable to the inside of Gavin Gardner. Gardner makes a little contact. There's a little moment up off of 4, but Grable able to get by. And now Brandon Elvis in the 54 are going to try to follow the Coastal Performance number 22, and he will follow. But Trey Ashworth says nope to Gavin Gardner, trying to get back down in the line. Gardner going to force his way back down. He finds an opening in turn number 3, back into the 5th position. As things begin to settle down just a little bit after that chaotic restart up at the front. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28. Your fast qualifier up to the 9th position thus far. Has not been able to work his way forward that much just yet. We'll see if he can get there in the second half of this race. Remember, a long way to go. 200 laps, a long time here at Slinger, even though they're running 12.6 second laps that last time by. As Brandon Atkinson, we're watching right here, battling with Connor Lee. This is just outside the top 10. Up the road in front of him, Justin Coleman. Peyton Hamlet, a couple of Tennessee natives battling it out for the 11th spot. Coleman gets by on the inside, but can he make that pass stick? That's been the hard thing here tonight. You can get to the inside, but can you complete the pass? The outside lane able to hold a lot of momentum like Carter Hollingsworth talked about. The race leader, Matthew Elsie Jr. down into turn number 1. You see just how spread out the field is starting to get up at the front. And even towards the back, there's a couple stragglers starting to lose some of the pace that these leaders are able to hold. And I think there may have been a checkup on the restart as well. Some of these guys way behind. Your race leader is Noah Longyear, the driver involved in that most recent incident. Longyear not too far up the road in front of Matthew Elsie Jr. Elsie, your race leader, holds it by 0.3 of a second over Zachary Wilt and Brian Grable. Back behind, Connor Lee gets to the inside of Peyton Hamlet. Your biggest movers so far, currently the number 14 of Justin Coleman. Trying to drive to the front. He didn't have the best effort in qualifying. Qualified in the 16th spot. And we've got a caution flag out. Andrew Turner in the 51. Low on the front stretch. I didn't quite see what happened there. The caution flag is out for the second time on lap 42. Let's take a look. Was battling with Nick Giampa in the 46. think Giampa just got a better run up off of the corner. That was right in front of your race leaders. Once again, everybody able to avoid that time. A little bit smaller of an incident, but caution flag is back out. That'll be a good chance for some of these drivers to get sorted back with the pack. I think there were some stragglers there at the end of that green flag run, and then right there you see the 46 of Giampa just barely make contact, and it does send the 51 around. The field getting caught back up here. Noah Longyear, the lucky dog, going to get the free pass on the top side there. And the field is going to go back. Green flag racing. Matthew Elsie Jr. in the 27 gets a good launch, but goes up the racetrack. Zach Wilt looks to the inside through turns 1 and 2. Battle for the top spot. Elsie to the top of the racetrack. Zach Wilt to the bottom, trying to take the race lead. Can Elsie hold on? He's been to Slinger before. He knows how to use that outside lane, and he's going to use the top lane. Elsie able to defend the challenge for now at least. Wilt looks back to the inside, but nothing going for it. Lap 49 up on the board. Battle for the second spot. Brandon Elvis in the 54 right there. Remember, last time we came to Slinger, Elvis led 35 laps. Came home in the 4th position. Connor Knowlton and Dylan Connor battle for the 9th spot on the racetrack. Just up in front of him, Carter Hollingsworth in the 28. He started to move forward as there's some contact up in front of him. Gavin Gardner, Brian Grable, they play bumper tag with Zach Wilt, who I think was trying to get back down in line. A couple cars stacked up through turns 1 and 2 that last time. Another big dive to the inside. Trey Ashworth thought about looking underneath Carter Hollingsworth there, but nothing going for him. They head down the back straightaway. Brandon Elvis in the 54 right there on the back bumper of Matthew Elsie Jr. Just waiting to make a move. Cole Baxter to the inside of Connor Knowlton now. Trey Ashworth in the 8 up the racetrack. He's getting sideways up off of the corner, and that's not what you want to see early on in this one. You got to keep the tires cool. Even though you have a halfway break, you got to be able to make it to that halfway break with some good track position so you don't have to drive back up through the field later on. Sideways once again is Ashworth. Knowlton behind him moves back down to the bottom lane. Does not want to try to follow suit any longer on the top. Now up front for the race lead. Your leaders coming up on Noah Longyear in the number 12. He gets into the outside wall, and that puts Brandon Elvis in the outside wall. Here comes Zach Wilt back down to the bottom. Big time contact that time. Brandon Elvis pancaked the outside wall. And now Elsie going to get around the outside of Noah Longyear. How is that going to affect Zach Wilt? Wilt drives up to the outside lane. He's not going to let Longyear become a pick. Cuts up in front. Elvis goes up the racetrack as well. Noah Longyear throughout all of this able to make up a little bit of ground. Is now the 54 of Brandon Elvis going to try to go through the middle. A little bit more contact. Elvis into the back bumper of the 12 of Noah Longyear. Longyear down the bottom of the racetrack trying to stay out of the way of this battle for the second position. Throughout all of this, Matthew Elsie Jr. able to get a race lead. How about Gavin Gardner way down to the inside? Noah Longyear, the meat in the sandwich, and he goes around in the number 12. The 12 of Longyear going around. I believe it was off of the back, or off of the bumper of Connor Knowlton. He's one lap down, tough break there. He was in the lucky dog position, just unfortunately could not get freed up from that pack. Let's watch again. Looks like just did not get the gas in the middle of the racetrack. I think he was trying to get out of that situation, but after a certain point, he was unable to. He was just dropping back through the pack. Get the drone perspective of this. This is down through turns 3 and 4. Goes up the racetrack a little bit. And then watch here. I think the contact that did him in was right there from the bumper of the 24 of Connor Knowlton. And the 12 of Longyear goes around. Third caution flag of the evening. Your race leader is Matthew Elsey Jr. in the 27. He had a big advantage after all of that. And once again, Elsey going to choose that outside lane. We'll see how it plays out for him. Going to launch from the second group. He'll have Brandon Elvis to his inside. Elvis going to try to get a big run up as they get into the restart zone. The green flag is back out, and we're back underway. Elsey with a better launch that time, but Elvis do the inside. What can Elsey do to hold off the 54? Elvis drives down to the inside lane, gets a good run down the back straightaway. And Elsey hold off on the top side. Here comes Brian Grable in the number 22 to the outside of Brandon Elvis. 54 of Elvis pulls alongside. Elsey still holds the advantage on the top lane. Now a little contact. Elvis falls back just a little bit in the 54. The 27 going to try and use all that momentum, and now the 54 of Elvis all kinds of sideways. Out of turn number 2, he's got to back out of it just a little bit. Now Brian Grable going to look to his outside. Grable goes through to the second spot. Carter Hollingsworth on the top as well. Your fast qualifier came from the 11th spot on the grid, up into the top 5, trying to look for more and get around Brandon Elvis for the 3rd spot. We're just over 25 laps shy of the halfway mark. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28, your fast qualifier already up into the top 5. And trying to maintain on the outside lane. You can see Brandon Elvis in the 54. Able to keep up and keep even now with Brian Grable. Hollingsworth in the 28 slips up a little bit on the top side. And every time one of these drivers gets loose, they're just so close together that as soon as one driver gets loose, there's almost immediately contact following. This time by, it will be 25 laps until the halfway break. Matthew Elsey Jr. in the 27 has led from the get-go in this one, but he has had drivers hard charging for the top spot all race long. And now Brandon Elvis looks to the inside. Elvis down to the bottom, challenging for the top spot. Can Elsey hold off on the top, trying to hold that 54 tight on the exit of the corner? But here comes Elvis to the bottom. Elvis in the 54 looks to the inside. Brian Grable is right there as well in the 22. He's looking for Street Stock Showdown win number 2. And out of turn number 4 that time across the stripe. Brandon Elvis to the front, new race leader on lap 79. The 54 out front. And can he hold off Elsey and Brian Grable? 2 hard chargers back behind him. What about the 55 of Gavin Gardner? He's running strong up into the top 5. Oh, a caution flag out. The 04 of Zach Wilp around. I didn't see exactly how it happened there. It's a little tap from the 28 of Carter Hollingsworth sent the 04 to the inside. Let's watch it once again. It was on the exit of turn number 4. Try and get a better look at it once again from the drone. And watch right here, the 04 goes up the racetrack a little bit, I think the 28 just gets into the back bumper and spins him down to the bottom. Tough break for your fast qualifier. And the green flag is back out. We're back underway. 15 laps till the halfway break. Down into turns 1 and 2. New front 2 on the front row. 22, Brian Grable to the outside of Brandon Elvis. Grable trying to hold Elvis tight. Elvis trying to hold Grable tight on that outside lane. Both drivers not able to get an advantage. That time, Elvis peeks ahead just slightly at the line. Matthew Elsey Jr., who led the first 75 laps of this one, hanging close in the 3rd spot, still trying to fight back to get around Brian Grable. Gavin Gardner runs P4. Looks like Brian Grable able to get clear just about. Matthew Elsey challenges back to the inside. And that time, Brian Grable able to shut the door through turns 3 and 4. 9 laps till the halfway break. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28 goes back to the 10th position. They stack up on the exit of 2, and he lost a couple spots there. Justin Coleman to the inside. Back up at the front, Gavin Gardner to the outside of Matthew Elsey Jr. He gets by for the 3rd spot. Elsey struggling on the inside lane in the 27. Might have burnt the good in those tires off a little bit too early in this run. Currently runs 4th. Cole Baxter to the inside of Connor Knowlton. 5 laps shy of the halfway break. Brandon Atkinson trying to work forward. All these spots are going to matter before the halfway break as Connor Knowlton shoots through the middle. Cole Baxter went up the racetrack, and Knowlton through the middle. Now goes up the racetrack, I think letting Baxter back by. There may have been contact between the two. Everybody trying to figure out where they're going to come into the pits at, where they're going to be at this halfway break. Currently, Brandon Elvis leads. We're 2 laps shy. That 54 has opened up the gap. Here we go until the halfway break. We'll be at the completion of lap 100. Final lap of the first half right here. Elvis is your leader. Cole Baxter up into the top 5. Connor Lee. Now to turn number 4. Brandon Elvis leads at the halfway break. Caution flag going to come out. Get this field slowed down. We'll have a brief break. We'll grab a word from our current leader, Brandon Elvis. Everybody will make their way up into the pits here, find their box, and be ready to go. We still have 19 cars left on the lead lap. Everybody going to get up into their box. It looks like the caution flag will fly. Everybody going to get to their box. I think the pace car is going to just do laps by itself while we get things sorted out. All right, and now up in the broadcast booth, I have our current race leader. Comes down pit road with the lead. Brandon Elvis, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
If I gave you $25, would it make you want to come back from the back of this pack and try and do it again in another 100 laps?
Man, I'll be honest with you. I don't think so, man. If you would ask me before the race, I would have committed to it. But as hard as it was to get to the lead there during that first 100, man, I think I got to stick with the trap position. I got to think big picture, trying to win the race and gain as many points as I can.
For sure, it's understandable. It's been a pretty tough race as far as passing goes. You were able to get up to the race lead, like you said. You started from the 6th position. What's it going to take in these final 100 laps to hold off this field that's going to be hungry for a win back behind you?
Man, just survival and try to keep it straight. You know, there's a lot of beating and banging going on early. We had some problems there. Everybody kind of got it worked out there with the lap traffic in front of us. But I think everybody's gonna try to get after it here the second 100.
For sure. I think it's going to be a pretty exciting second 100 laps to this race. We'll let you get back to it. We're about to get them sent back racing, and exciting 200 laps. Hopefully we can be talking to you at the end of this one.
Man, I sure hope so. We led every lap except the most important one last time we were here, so hopefully we can get it back this time. Redemption.
For sure. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, folks. Real quick, we're going to make sure everything with the race control is all good to go. We're going to take a quick step away before we come back for the second half of this race. And we'll be ready to go racing here at Slinger Super Speedway. Be right back on the WD Broadcasting Network.
Mark News is back. Michigan Area Racing Connection News keeps fans in the tri-state area up to date on national headlines, local results, regional news, and so much more. Home of the Horsepower Happenings podcast, 500 Sprintcast, Gridline Social, Job Bank, Fastlane Images, KG Media, and so much more. MarkNews.org is the one stop for any race fan who needs to know what's going on in the Michigan area. Plus, get the Mark News weekly newsletter sent right to your inbox, FREE free. Sign up today and learn more at marknews.org. marknews.org, the Michigan Area Racing Connection.
KG Media is your home for all things photography, race day social media, and more. Cody Geyer brings more than a decade of experience working with the top brands in short track racing. From individual photos to full race days, social media to PR, KG Media can make your race team, race track, or touring series stand out. For more information, go to marknews.org or visit KG Media on Facebook.
All right, race fans, we're back here at the Slinger Super Speedway. We're ready to go racing in this second half of the Slinger 200. Getting everybody lined back up and ready to go racing. Make sure everybody is all ready to go. Brandon Elvis going to bring this field back to the green. With Brian Grable alongside, Gavin Gardner third, Matthew Elsey Jr. fourth, Cole Baxter runs in the fifth spot. It'll be just under 100 laps because we do have a couple laps to get these drivers all ready to go. The first half of the race, exciting thus far. We had 4 cautions in the first 100 laps, 5 if you count that halfway break caution. But as soon as everybody is all in place, lined up, ready to roll, we're going to send this field back out onto the racetrack, and it looks like we're ready to go. Brandon Elvis in the 54 going to lead this field to the green. Everybody going to get lined up. Make sure everybody's all out of the pits. There was a lot of cars up there. All right, had to make sure everybody was all good with getting the lineup all set. iRacing is ready to send this field back to green after about 2 laps of pacing, and we are not. So, Brandon Elvis in the 54. Like he mentioned, led a lot of laps at Slinger last time around. We'll wait for this field to get back rolling. Not sure where the pace car is on the racetrack at this current moment, but they are not behind it. Oh, it looks like it's actually behind the entire field. We'll have to get them caught up to the pace car, I do believe, before we can send them back green. Now I think we are going to let the pace car maybe go by, not entirely sure. Or we'll send them green midway through turns 1 and 2. I think the lineup's still getting sorted out as well. We got to figure out a couple lucky dogs here too. Go along here in the 12. Able to get most of the damage repaired on that machine. We'll see if he's able to recover through the field. A little contact there with Jesse Binkley. I don't know if Brandon Elvis is going to be very happy about that one right there. His nice shiny race car that he's trying to get in victory lane. And now I think everybody's going to have to catch the pace car before we can send this field back green. So it'll actually be a 90-lap shootout in the second half of this one. And it looks like we are back racing. Green flag has flown. Brandon Elvis, Brian Grable, they launched. Not in the restart zone, but they're underway. Everybody, I think, was ready for it, knew it was about to happen there, and we're back underway racing at Slinger. 88 laps to go in the Slinger 200. Cole Baxter to the inside of Matthew Elsey Jr. Elsey led the beginning 75 laps of this one. Wants to get back to the front. currently in the 4th position, stuck up on that outside lane. Not the place you want to be early on in these runs. You're able to, unfortunately, you're able to lose some track position early. Matthew Elson Jr. able to hold off. Cole Baxter on the inside. Nothing going for the 19 that time around. Connor Knowlton gets by Dylan Connor for the 7th spot. Now your top 7 have broken away single file. Nobody wanting to race too hard at this moment. They know that there's a lot of laps left in this one. And everybody just trying to get settled in for this second run. Long way left to go. Your race leader, Brandon Elvis, currently closing in on Jesse Binkley. Binkley, the final car on the lead lap in the 19th spot. And Binkley going to pull down out of the way of the race leaders. Does not want to cause any trouble in this lead battle. Now 80 laps to go, make it 79 laps to go for Brandon Elvis, trying to hold on for three-stop showdown career victory number 11. He's got 10 of them so far. He's trying to get number 11 in the biggest one in series history. Ryan Grable back behind him. He has one Street Stock Showdown victory. About 1,000 second place finishes in this series. One victory for the 22 of Brian Grable. He would love nothing more than to get it done in the car that his buddy Aiden Oliver ran at Anderson Saturday night in their 200-lap Street Stock race. Right now, things calming down. 75 laps remain here at Slinger. We watch the field go down the back straightaway. We'll be really jostling for position too heavily as Zach Murphy off the racetrack. Trouble for the 29. He was running in the 13th spot. I'm not sure what exactly happened there. You can see just how quickly these cars are making laps here at Slinger. This race is going to be done for too long. You see Connor Knowlton get around Dylan Connor for the 8th spot. Or Connor Lee, rather. The 6th spot. Things calming down here at Slinger up front. Ryan Grable, Gavin Gardner able to match the lap times pretty evenly of Brandon Elvis. Pretty much every lap, they're all right there. About the same lap times. Fastest car on the racetrack, though, but keeping an eye on it. The 24 of Connor Knowlton and Dylan Connor in the 91. They've been the fastest cars at the end of this one, or at the beginning of this run, I should say. Matthew Elsie Jr. doing a good job holding that 4th position. He was able to stop the bleeding and get back down to the bottom after that start where he started on the top. And Jesse Binkley in the 25 brings it pit side, calls it a night. 17 cars remain on the lead lap. It'll be 65 laps to go when we get back to the line this time. Still plenty of time for one of these drivers behind Brandon Elvis to make a charge, to get up to the back bumper. They've ran faster laps than him kind of here and there these past couple. We'll look at the lap times as they come around this time. Elvis out front in the 54, 12.707. Brian Grable in 12.757, so just barely a little bit slower. Elvis Elvis, actually the fastest car on track last time. And as you can see, that last time around, Grable and Gardner just a little bit quicker. So back and forth between these top three drivers, just trying to make it to the end and battle for the win. Right above the 27 of Matthew Elsey Jr. He led at the beginning of this one, trying to hold on to the fourth spot. He's got Cole Baxter back behind him. And how about the 24 of Connor Nolan? He's slowly working his way forward. Hard charger so far is Connor Lee. He's up 8 positions. He started in the 15th spot up into the 7th spot right now. Just shy of 50 laps to go. We're closing in on the end of this race, and now we've got a battle starting to heat up for the 2nd spot. I've been keeping an eye on that 55 of Gavin Gardner, and he is starting to put the pressure on the 22 of Brian Grable. Wants to take that 2nd spot and try and track down Brandon Elvis to try and get his 2nd victory in the Street Stock Showdown. And oh, that time Gardner caught the apron through 1 and 2, lost a little bit of ground. They have to restart that process trying to catch Brian Grable. If you look up the road, Brandon Elvis has got some lap traffic starting to populate up in front of him. It's Connor Lee. Now has Dylan Connor to the inside. Connor has not been able to drive that car back to the front like we've seen in weeks past. Currently scored in the 8th spot on the racetrack. No, up in front of him, Connor Knowlton. Cole Baxter make contact. Knowlton loses some ground. That allows Connor Lee to get to his back bumper, and now Cole Baxter and Knowlton spin down to the inside. And the caution flag is out for the first time in this 2nd half. Knowlton, who was charging his way through the field, goes for a spin on the front straightaway. We've seen a lot of spins on the front stretch here tonight. Let's watch it back one more time. Here's the contact between Baxter and Knowlton through 1 and 2. And we'll watch out of 4 right here. Just a little tap from the 88 of Connor Lee, gets into the back of Cole Baxter, and that sends him around. Watch it one more time. Try to watch it a little bit further back before that contact started. Just a little nudge right there, and that checked up Cole Baxter. And this is the incident in turn 3 and 4 one more time. You see the 88 of Connor Lee tap the 19 of Baxter, and then as soon as Baxter goes around, nowhere for Connor Knowlton to go. He's trying to get that car slowed down and avoid hitting the 19. The field prepares to go back to racing. We're doubled back up. Brandon Elvis in the 54 elects to choose the outside lane. That will line up Matthew Elsey Jr. back behind him in the money spot, 4th position on the outside of that 2nd row. We'll see what Elsey can do in the 27. Keep an eye on that 28 of Carter Hollingsworth too. Just 1 spot behind that 27. Green flag is back out, and we're back underway with 47 laps to go here at Slinger. Good run through turns 1 and 2 for Brandon Elvis. Elvis able to take the lead. Brian Grable immediately into the 2nd spot. Now Matthew Elsey Jr. trying to take 3rd from Gavin Gardner. Gardner on the inside, Elsey on the top, trying to take 3rd. Carter Hollingsworth is right there in the 24 as well. He gets down to the bottom in front of Dylan Connor. And now, how about Brandon Atkinson in the 15? Where did he come from? On that outside lane. Remember, he won last time we came to Slinger. Can he charge back through this field and get the job done? Currently battling with Dylan Connor for the 6th spot. It's up in front of him. Matthew Elsey Jr. able to hold off Gavin Gardner for the third position. Gardner on the inside, kind of stuck down on the bottom. He's able to clear up that time in front of Carter Hollingsworth to stop the bleeding, at least temporarily. Carter Hollingsworth dives to the inside. Not able to make anything happen though through turns 3 and 4. Gardner holds on to the 4th spot. And now watch that 15 of Brandon Atkinson back behind. He's figuring something out on this top lane with under 40 laps to go. And now big send to the inside. Carter Hollingsworth takes a peek underneath Gavin Gardner. Not able to make anything happen on the bottom though. Running out of time and running out of options. It looks like the bottom lane is starting to lose some of the pace that we saw earlier on. And now watch Brandon Atkinson. He's driving that car into the banking center of the corner and just turning it down. Able to get it rotated and up off the corner really nicely. Atkinson up into the 6th position. He's going to try and close in on Gavin Gardner and Carter Hollingsworth, who battle for the final spot in the top 5. All of this happening while Brandon Elvis in the 54 started to open up that race lead just a little bit. Number 8 machine. I think something may have happened. He's off the pace down at the bottom of the track. Caution flag did not come out though. Is now for the 3rd spot. Gavin Gardner back to the inside of Matthew Elsey Jr. Elsey going to have to defend that final spot on the podium. And now can Carter Hollingsworth maybe look to the outside of Gavin Gardner and make it a 3-car battle for 3rd? To the inside, trying to drive up to the center of the corner. You can see the run that the 27 gets on corner exit, able to keep the 55 and Gardner at bay. Turns 3 and 4 across the stripe that time. I think Gardner had the position at the line, but not by much. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28 trying to just figure out which lane to even go with. Looks like Gardner's going to be able to complete that pass, but can Carter Hollingsworth get to the inside of Matthew Elsey Jr. and try to follow Gardner into the 4th position? That time by 30 laps to go for Brandon Elvis. He's starting to open up that gap to Brian Grable. Grable maybe starting to run out of steam. On the bottom, still not able to get clear just yet of Matthew Elsey Jr. Elsey trying to use all the tricks that he learned from the front wheel drive here in real life to get the job done here. But now Gardner has company to the inside. Hollingsworth thought about 3 wide there, thought better of it though, back the nose out. He's gonna have to try and rethink how he wants to get around Matthew Elsey Jr. and Gavin Gardner. Justin Coleman to the inside of Brandon Atkinson for the 7th spot. I think Atkinson may have burnt off some of the good in those tires. Now 25 laps to go. Gardner sideways in the 55 up the racetrack. Carter Hollingsworth through the middle, back behind him. Little contact with Matthew Elsey Jr. He doors him up the racetrack. Dylan Connor in the 91 on the way inside. They're 3 wide. Back behind Gavin Gardner for 2nd. And now Dylan Connor, I think, going to get the 2-for-1 special. Down the back straightaway, Connor up to the 4th position. Hollingsworth in the 28 trying to fight back to take that 4th spot away. Dylan Connor on the inside lane, able to just keep that right front there, not quite letting Carter Hollingsworth clear. That time by Gavin Gardner in the 55, fastest car on the racetrack. Only car in the 12-second bracket, actually. He is tracking down Brian Grable, who currently runs in the 3rd spot. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28, also down into the 12s. I think they got a little bit more speed at this point in the race compared to Brandon Elvis and Brian Grable up in front of them. Is there enough time for either driver to make a challenge for position? Down the backstretch, you can see the lead that Brandon Elvis has started to open up. Justin Coleman and Brandon Atkinson continue to battle the 7th spot on the racetrack. Coleman on the inside, Atkinson on the outside. Connor Knowlton in the 24 was doing a good job of working his way through the field back in the 12th spot at this moment after that contact with these two drivers back behind him. 15 to go, this time by for Brandon Elvis. 14 laps to go. The laps are running out for a couple of these drivers back behind that are maybe just a little bit quicker than the 54 at this moment. Justin Coleman in the 14, not able to get around Brandon Atkinson. Atkinson in the 15, trying to hold on to that race car. These cars at the end of this race look very hard to hold on to. Nobody really looks comfortable at this moment. But now out front for the race lead, Brandon Elvis has opened up that gap. And now for the 2nd spot, Gavin Gardner is closed into the back bumper of Brian Grable. Can he take the 2nd spot away and try to track down your race leader? This time by 10 laps to go. 10 to go for Brandon Elvis, trying to pick up career victory number 11 in the Street Stock Showdown. Brian Grable in the 22, trying to hold off Gavin Gardner for the 2nd spot. Gardner right there on his back bumper, but can he make the pass? Gardner all over the back bumper of Brian Grable. Is there any contact here? How desperate is Gardner to get up to that 2nd spot? A little nudge up off of turn number 4 that time, and now Gardner looks to the inside through turn number 1. Gardner down to the bottom, trying to take the 2nd spot here with 6 laps to go, and caution flag is out. Connor Knowlton around on the bottom of turn number 2. We are not done yet. Caution flag flies just as Gavin Gardner was getting ready to pass Brian Grable. Let's watch what happened to the number 24 of Connor Knowlton. Oh, they're already 3 wide. Let's go ahead and go back a little bit, see how they got 3 wide. There's a little contact here. I think the 19 and the 24. He goes to the inside. Connor Lee goes to the top side. This is down into 1 the next time around. Oh, the 24 down onto the apron. And he goes around by himself. That will bring out the caution flag for the 7th time this race. Brandon Elvis is going to have to fight off Brian Grable, Gavin Gardner, Carter Hollingsworth, Dylan Connor, a stacked top 5 at the end of this one. I do believe we are going to be in green-white checkered territory. Brandon Elvis going to choose the outside lane. What can Brian Grable do in the number 22 to steal this one here? Is there anything left in the tank? Through turns 3 and 4 they go. Green flag is back out, and we're back underway. 2 laps to go here at Slinger. Good launch down to turns 1 and 2. Brandon Elvis able to take the lead down the back straightaway. They'll come to the white flag this time. Carter Hollingsworth up to the 2nd spot. Final lap here at Slinger. Is there anything left in the tank for the 28? One final drive down the back straightaway. and through turns 3 and 4. Hollingsworth going to have to defend with Brian Grable and Gavin Gardner, and Brandon Elvis wins at Slinger. Gardner comes home second. Brian Grable comes home third. But Brandon Elvis not going to have the victory taken from him this time. He wins at Slinger. Gardner second. Brian Grable comes home in the third spot. Brandon Elvis going to burn it down on the front straightaway. We'll try and grab a word from him as fast as we can here. Let him get some donuts in the 54. We will grab a word from our winner here tonight. We'll get him up into the broadcast booth as quickly as we can. Winner here tonight at the Slinger Super Speedway. Well, Brandon, you were on the front row and you were able to hold that top spot in the second half of the race. Winner at Slinger. Tell me about your run.
Man, that was awesome. I was able to really just set the pace. I was kind of curious how much Gravel and those guys were falling off. He told me that Gavin was coming on strong there at the end, but I mean, I felt like I couldn't have backed it up anymore. You know what I mean? I was just running 13-second laps and still kind of pulling away from him. So I was like, well, maybe we still have something here. And it worked out. I damn sure didn't want to see that green, white checkered. I wanted it to go green, but this is cool.
Yeah, for sure. I can only imagine the feeling when you saw that final caution flag come out. Just deja vu to last season. How were you able to mentally reset and lock in for that final green, white checkered?
Yeah, well, I knew. I mean, it was literally deja vu. Got up to a 2-second lead and then have a caution come out with 5 to go. It was like just a complete last year all over again. But I was able to. I felt comfortable with Grable up beside me, and I knew that if I could get a good jump on him on the restart and get clear into one, that I was probably going to be okay. So, and it all worked out like it was supposed to tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, all worked out, and you were able to execute well. We knew that this race was going to be a track position race, but also you had to keep the tires on it, and I think you did both of those things very well at the end of this one. You had a pretty big gap before that caution flag came out, so I'm glad to see you hang on and get the victory. Who do you have to thank for your third win this season in the street stocks?
Yeah, man. Just thanks to Coastal Performance guys, the ECR guys. My dad at home for watching, my wife for allowing me to do this. That's pretty cool. Was able to put my first street stock paint in Victory Lane that I painted myself, so that was pretty cool. Just shout out to you for helping me and Coleman for helping me with the paint stuff, and just also again WD Broadcasting Network and LTP League here. We have a lot of fun here, man, and I'm glad to see things turning around and cleaning up and doing better.
Yeah, for sure. The street stocks had a rough beginning to the season, but these past couple of races have been pretty good, and we've had some excitement. So I'm glad to see you back in Victory Lane. What's it going to take next week at IRP to try and go 2 in a row?
Oh man, just patience with the throttle. Just figuring out which lane's going to work the best and sticking to it, and just like I said, just trying to drive straight up out the corner and save that right rear, save the right front, save all of them. Man, it's going to be tough.
For sure. Well, congratulations on your victory here tonight, and we wish you luck throughout the rest of the season. It's going to be good on the points. Hopefully we can see you as a favorite in the points championship in those final couple races.
All right, Winston. Thank you.
Yep. We will talk to now our second place finisher. Get him up in the broadcast booth. Try to get him up in the broadcast booth. Now we've got him up in the booth. Second place finisher here tonight. You were coming on strong there at the end. Just a couple spots short here tonight, and I think maybe not enough laps up at the front there at the end to really track down Brandon Elvis.
Yeah, it was a good race. Kind of hung around the front the whole time for sure. Like I was able to save tire pretty good. I wasn't really sliding them, but also wasn't using the right front heavy. I didn't really know how good I was going to be tonight. I don't usually run good in a straighter here, so running up front like this the whole race, like it was nothing to be mad about. I wish there would have been a little more racing. Obviously, you're not going to do much about that on a tight track like this. I think at the end there, I think it was that second to last little run before a green-white checkered. When Elsley got by, it took too long to get back by, and then we kind of sat around for a while side by side. I wish I could have been able to clear that a little quicker. Then obviously we made contact, and it allowed them to drive away a lot further than they already had. And then I got to Gravel, and I was literally half a corner away from starting on the front row on that green and white checkered, and we had the yellow come out. So that was brutal. I knew at that point that I was just going to be fighting for what little bit I could get. I mean, it felt like you had to be either fourth or second to have a chance at the leader, just because you just boxed in starting third. So that was unfortunate, but it was a lot of fun. I had some fun racing with the guys. I kind of got a little over aggressive going in the final corner. I checked up, but it was a little too late. So I apologize to everybody that got wrecked. But yeah, huge thank you to JTT, Lugnut Incorporated, MigPack Mafia, Twisted, Coleman Designs. This is the debut on this wrap, and it looks a whole lot better than the one I had on before. So huge thank you to Justin. He DM'd me, I think, last night and said, hey, let me cook you something up. So I really appreciate that. He makes some of the best designs. So please, if you're listening, go watch and go look at Coleman Design. Like, he is genuinely amazing. He's a great guy, makes great paints. So I really appreciate that from him. But yeah, fun race, and happy to finally be up here again, because it's been a minute.
Yeah, you got that win in week number 1, and then it's been a while, like you said. Haven't talked to you up on the podium. What's it going to take next week, if you're able to make it, to replicate that and have a good run at IRP? A little bit different track than Slinger.
I don't really know. IRP is one of those tracks that, like, just like tonight, like, I had no expectations. I thought I was going to be terrible. I was going to practice, and if I wasn't in the conversation, I was just going to go home. Like, it was that bad. And IRP is one of those tracks, right? I don't know if I'm going to be good or not, so we'll see. Hopefully it goes well, but you never know. We'll have to roll the roulette wheel and see if we land on good or see if we land on bad.
For sure. Well, congratulations on P2 here tonight, and hopefully we can talk to you a couple more times this season.
Appreciate it. I appreciate you. Hopefully you got that button box working. Thank you.
Yep. Now we will talk to our third place finisher here tonight. Just about had the second place spot, but came up 2 spots short of the victory. Brian Grable, P3 here tonight. 22 ran up front. I just don't think he had enough there at the end to get to Elvis. He was really, really on it there.
Yeah, for sure. Just there towards the end, I would kind of run Elvis down, and then I would kind of pedal off of him to give us some space, and then Gavin would kind of run me down. I'd run away from Gavin, and we kind of repeated that cycle a couple times. But with about 20 to go, I was like, all right, I need to run Elvis down and go for a shot here. And I would get, the car would start to make its initial cut, and then when I needed it to continue its cut, it would just get tight, and I don't know what was really causing that. I was playing with brake bias, I was changing my line, I was changing how early I let off, how driving in deeper. I did everything I could do in the car to try to get it to do something, and it was just never there. And then Gavin at the end was really, really fast, and then we had that late race caution, and I was just able to hang on for P3. I kept the car clean all night. A lot of sketchy moments, and then kind of got put in the fence there in the last lap, which always sucks, but hey, it's part of it.
Yeah, like you said, ran up front all night, kept the car clean till then, which is more than others can say. So I think all in all things considered, good run for the 22 here tonight. It was kind of a home track, hometown style race for you, because you just got back from Anderson and saw a similar scheme to what you ran on Saturday night at Anderson. I talked to Carter earlier night about, was there anything that you could take away from that 200 lap race at Anderson to kind of translate into tonight, mindset wise?
Definitely the patience of it. You know, we went up to Anderson, Indiana, Saturday. Went up there Friday for practice race Saturday with Aiden Oliver. His dad Dylan's the one who got me into Legends car, first ever race car I ever sat in. And I actually happened to buy my first race car from them. Well, we went up there and, you know, we didn't have a good qualifying effort, so we started P13 up there, and by, I don't know, lap 50 or so, we was up to 5th and had put ourselves in a good position. So I just really focused on always keeping myself in a good position. I know rolling off second with my teammate Brandon first, I was in a good position after the 100 laps. So I just kind of kept the same mindset of be patient, take what you can get, and work with people you know is going to work with you. And what's really funny about that whole situation is Aiden at the 200 lapper was running second with 5 to go and got stuffed in the fence just like I did, but his was a lot worse than mine. So, and it's at the end of the day, you know, this is a simulator, so I can not have to pay to fix it. So
I was
that's
gonna say, you can just get out of the car. Or get
yeah,
out of the
yeah,
seat.
for sure. That's like last night we was thrashing on it, you know, and we got a race next weekend at Nashville in it, and last race there he won. I had a top 5 run going last time we raced at Nashville in the Legends car. It just didn't happen to work out, but you know, you have that sometimes. But really focused on the patience of it, and I kind of tried some stuff with the line, you know, during Anderson. These guys were kind of like opening up their entry and just letting the car float in the corner. And that's kind of what me and Elvis both started to do, because we realized, hey, we just back up the corner, it's going to turn, obviously. So that's what we kept doing. So I took a pretty good amount away from Anderson and then the reality of things.
Yeah, for sure. I think there was definitely like a couple things that translated over, but P3 here tonight when it was all said and done, who do you have to thank for another podium finish with Street Stock Showdown?
I'd like to thank you, WD Broadcasting Network, Coastal Performance, Elvis Coleman Racing, Champs Auto Care, Oliver Motorsports, Levi Photography, RJ Williams, you know, just all of them guys. They've been great people to me through sim racing, even real life racing. They help. So big shout out to all them guys.
All right. Congratulations to you on P3 here this evening, and hopefully we can see you back in victory lane before the season's over.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, that was your third place finisher. We'll quickly go through our final finishing results. Just talked to our top 3. Brandon Elvis picked up his 11th career Street Stock Showdown victory. Gavin Gardner comes home 2nd. Brian Grable 3rd. Dylan Connor 4th. Carter Hollingsworth rounds out the top 5. Justin Coleman comes home 6th. Matthew Elsie Jr. comes home 7th. Brandon Atkinson comes home 8th. Zachary Wilt 9th. Connor Lee rounds out the top 10. Cole Baxter 11th. Stephen Choate 12th. Chris Fleming 13th. Chris Smith 14th. Peyton Hamlet comes home in the 15th spot. Final car on the lead lap. Trey Ashworth comes home 16th. Connor Knowlton 17th. Cameron Ruggles 18th. Jesse Binkley 19th. Zach Murphy 20th. And then rounding out our field is Andrew Turner and then Noah Longyear, your final finisher in number 12 here tonight. But that will wrap things up for the Street Stock Showdown 200 lap special here at Slinger. Thank you guys for tuning in. We've got IRP next week, and on Monday night, the YourBigPlans.com 500 Sprint Car Tour Sim Series season finale at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. So an IRP doubleheader next week. You guys won't want to miss it. Hit that red subscribe button so you don't miss upcoming live streams. And for more iRacing content, follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the pages linked below. And check out the new website. Haven't really announced it on stream just yet, but check out the website. It's linked below. You can find all the latest Lead the Pack iRacing League info right there. So thank you guys for tuning in one more time. We'll see you guys at IRP next week, and we'll see you guys at the racetrack on the weekend. So I'm your host, Winston Deal, signing it off from the WD Broadcasting Network. Peace out.